Annyeonghaseyo, riding on the Korean wave. Welcome to a brand new week on The Culture Wave. I'm Monday Soa in Seoul. Explore with us Korea's culture from all aspects and stay up to date with K-entertainment, K-festivals, K-history, K-everything. And we're going to do all of that together with our Monday co-host Walter Lee here in the studio. Hello, Walter.
Hello, Soa, and happy Monday to our viewers out there. I'm Walter Lee, here to give you the daily dose of your K-Enter news, so stick around.
Walter, I can't believe it's already the last Monday of April. May is coming up.
Yes.
And I think this time of year, it's perfect for festivals, right?
Yes, to go outside. In fact, we actually have quite a special festival happening right now, don't we, Soa?
Yes, that's happening in central Seoul, and we actually have our news features reporter at the scene there. It is a special festival where visitors can be transported back to the Joseon Dynasty and experience its royal court culture for themselves. Now, to deliver us some joy, that is, from the palace, our Choi Soo-hyung is standing by live. Soo-hyung, do share with us what's happening out there.
Good afternoon, Soa and Walter. I'm just right now standing in Gyeongbokgung Palace in the heart of Seoul. I'm here because of the K-Royal Cultural Festival happening just right here at this place. This year's festival, which started on Saturday, is taking place at Seoul's 5 major palaces: Gyeongbokgung, Changdeokgung, Deoksugung, Changgyeonggung, Gyeongigung, as well as Jongmyo Shrine. Visitors can enjoy a program where they experience royal life from Joseon Dynasty, which lasted from the late 14th century to the turn of the 20th century. One highlight is time travel with King Sejong, where visitors can experience important moments from King Sejong's life, such as the creation of Hangul, the Korean alphabet, and other historical achievements. The biggest feature of this festival is that visitors can do more than just watch, they can actually participate. Visitors can act as royal palace apprentices, making royal desserts and trying out royal dances. And they can experience daily life as it was about 500 years ago.
My friend invited me to join the program. The weather was so great, and when I tried it myself, it was easy and so much fun for anyone to enjoy.
This year is the 11th edition of the festival. Last year, more than 960,000 people visited the event, making it one of Seoul's most visited festivals. The Korea Heritage Service created a variety of programs that match current trends, different age groups, and even special programs for foreigners.
Last year, we focused mainly on performances showing daily life. This year, we wanted to give the audience a chance to join in and interact before the show starts. We also encouraged foreigners to participate, focusing more on hands-on experiences rather than just delivering lines.
It looks so nice and interesting. I mean, I've been there plenty of times myself, but what makes this year's festival special? Which programs can catch people's eyes?
Yes, Walter, in front of Gyeongbokgung Palace, visitors can enjoy traditional crafts and goods. And also at Deoksugung Palace near the Seoul City Hall, there's a special program for foreigners called the Emperor's Table. Visitors can taste traditional royal food from the Korean Empire period and hear stories about the food and about Korean history in English. This year, there's a special program called Spring Day at Gyeonghaeru to celebrate the 80th anniversary of the country's liberation. Independent heroes and their families have been invited to special performances at Gyeonghaeru Pavilion in Gyeongbokgung Palace. The festival will continue until May 4th at the 5 palaces and Jongmyo Shrine, as I mentioned. If you want to know what royal life and culture were like during the Joseon Dynasty, don't miss this special time.
Well, thank you very much, Soo-hyung, for covering at the venue of the cultural essence of South Korea. And I think although it is a Monday, it's already packed with so many people. So I guess this is really an interesting place to be. So thank you very much, Soo-hyung.
Thank you, Soo-hyung.
Now time for our daily dose of K-Enter News with Walter Lee. Walter, we're going to start off with one of my favorite K-pop stars, Blackpink's Jennie. What do you have?
Yes, we talked about her a few times last week, didn't we? So on Saturday, Blackpink's Jennie posted the music video for Seoul City, a track from her first full solo album called Ruby. We've talked about that many times on her official YouTube channel and social media, of course. Now, this is Jennie's 7th music video out of the 15 tracks included on the album Ruby. So, Seoul City, the music video, shows Jennie fully enjoying the essence of, well, Seoul City, of course. So against the dreamy background of various locations around Seoul, drawing viewers into the song itself. Now, with Ruby, Jennie has seen the highest first week sales, approximately around over 660,000 copies among female K-pop solo artists this year. And the album's debut at number 3 on the UK's official albums chart was the highest ever for a female K-pop soloist.
You know, I like it when sometimes you listen to a song first and then you have your own imagination about it, and then later on you see the music video.
Yes.
So, and I really like the atmosphere there, the vintage style of the music video. But Walter, we're going to move on to our next story now, and this time it's about K-pop meeting sports.
Yes.
Tell us more.
It's not that often, doesn't really happen, does it? So on Sunday, K-pop boy group Boy Next Door's agency, K-OZ, or K-O-G in Korean, Entertainment announced that the group has been appointed as the global ambassadors for the 2025 FIB Men's Volleyball World Championships. Now, the International Volleyball Federation, or FIB, visited the HYBE headquarters in Seoul the previous day to officially appoint the Boy Next Door members as global ambassadors. Following the appointment, Boy Next Door will participate in pre-tournament promotional activities and attend the opening ceremony where they will also perform. Now, Boy Next Door shared their thoughts saying, "We are thrilled and honored to be chosen as global ambassadors in such a meaningful year when the Korea's national team is competing and being involved."
And I believe that this year's championship will be held in Manila in the Philippines starting in September. So probably we're going to touch upon that again later on.
Sure we will.
Now finally, we're going to have some K-drama news.
K-drama news, yes. So according to global platform ranking site Flix Patrol on Monday, the Netflix series Weak Hero, which released its 2nd season, Weak Hero Class 2, the first one was Weak Hero, just Weak Hero, but they said Class 1, on Friday ranked 2nd overall globally. However, the teen drama claimed number 1 spots in around 32 countries. This is including Korea, Mexico, Morocco, Peru, Singapore, and Japan, and ranked 3rd in the United States. Now, Weak Hero, if you haven't heard, Class 2 follows the brutal survival and coming-of-age story of Yeon Si-eun, a model student after failing to protect a friend despite standing up against violence. He has to transfer to another school. Now, actor Park Ji-hoon reprises his role as Yeon Si-eun and in season 1, once again captivating viewers with his layered portrayal of a character who fights in order to end fighting. So that's quite an interesting way to end fighting, is by fighting.
And it is also very interesting to see the scenes of when he fights, because he does not only fight with his fist, but with his brain. So I really like those scenes. Well, thank you very much for those K-Enter News, Walter. And there are also all 8 episodes available now on Netflix. So I guess it's perfect to binge watch.
Yeah, I believe so, yes.
Well, stick around, Walter.
Will do.
And now we're going to take a look at what our AI anchor Ari has for us. Take it away, Ari.
Hello and welcome to your AI guide to the latest cultural updates from Korea. Here's our top story. A large-scale Lotus Lantern parade was held in downtown Seoul on Saturday ahead of Buddha's birthday. About 50,000 participants marched through the streets of Jongno, carrying some 100,000 colorful lanterns. Celebratory performances, including traditional dances like Ganggangsunle, were also staged as part of efforts to strengthen national unity. Organizers said the event aimed to promote harmony and peaceful coexistence amid rising social tensions and political uncertainty in Korea. The 2025 Seoul Shopping Festa, a large-scale shopping and tourism festival for domestic and international visitors, will be held throughout May. Nearly 4,000 stores from around 260 companies will participate across 7 sectors, including retail, accommodation, and fashion, to improve accessibility for international consumers. This year's event features special promotions through e-commerce platforms. Now in its 17th year, the festival offers extensive discounts and diverse cultural experiences. More information is available on the official website, www.seoulshoppingfesta.com. A festival celebrating the treasures of the mountains will kick off in Hongcheon, Gangwon-do Province. The Gangwon Hongcheon Wild Edible Greens Festival will run from May 3rd to 5th at Hongcheon Sports Stadium, offering visitors a rare chance to sample a rich variety of fresh mountain vegetables grown in pristine nature, where highlands rise above 600 meters. This year's event features hard-to-find delicacies such as traditional gomji, a rare type of ragwort, and bujigengi or amber wallflower. A special highlight is Hongcheon Wild Mountain Garlic, officially recognized as Forest Product Geographical Indication number 46. That's all from me. Keep it tuned to the Culture Wave.
Jennie and Lisa from Blackpink and Enhypen were part of the proud K-pop lineup at Coachella 2025. It has become the norm to have K-pop stars perform at major international music events. Now today, we want to talk about K-pop's presence on the global stage and what significance this holds for the K-pop industry. For that, we are now connected to Cedarbo Seiji, Assistant Professor at Busan National University. Hello, Professor Seiji.
Hello, Professor.
Hello, Soa. Hello, Walter.
All right, so K-pop artists made headlines at this year's Coachella Valley Music and Arts Festival. First off, what do you think has earned them the attention from the media and audience?
Well, I don't mean to be too cynical, but by adding K-pop artists to the lineup, Coachella can also attract some new audiences that might not have gone to a desert in California. You know, after slowly and successfully adding K-pop performers over the past few festivals, I think Coachella now feels confident that even audiences unfamiliar with K-pop will note the talent, stage presence of K-pop performers. And because it's still hard to see some of these groups in the US or to get those coveted tickets, fans are willing to travel a long distance to see them perform. So the addition of K-pop brings new audiences to the shows, and often very enthusiastic audiences demonstrating K-culture, you know, fan chants, light sticks, and that creates an impression on other audiences. So I don't want to say that K-pop performers are the best performers at these festivals, but they are very well rehearsed, very well trained, and they do give it their all.
And Professor Seiji, in the past, we would hear of news that this and that group has made its debut in the US, or that groups like BTS and Blackpink have for the first time performed at this and that event. But now K-pop acts are at the center of global music events. So what do you think of this development?
Well, of course, more than anything, I'm just proud of the artists. They've done something that the first generation couldn't even imagine. I absolutely believe that K-pop's upending of global cultural flows, challenging the status quo that only Western pop music is consumed everywhere, is K-pop's most significant contribution to the world of pop music. You know, in the future, we all know global stars can come from anywhere. And K-pop was what proved that stars can come from places other than Western Europe and the United States and Canada. So K-pop had to work really hard to get to this point. You know, the groups that have broken out, the ones that were the first to appear on these famous shows or to be at these famous festivals, those groups relentlessly were promoted by their agencies, but most of all by their fans. You know, it didn't happen because people liked them, but because people loved them passionately and without holding back. And so honestly, it's love that has made K-pop into this global phenomena.
And the fandom power is also very impressive at these international music events. For example, Coachella. Coachella is almost probably one of the most well-known music festivals in the Northern American area, apart from probably Woodstock. And I've also I've been overseas myself and hosted Korean culture events where the fans are singing along to Korean songs, even if they technically don't know Korean. They know the chants, they know the lyrics, they know the dances, they know what to say. You can hear the crowd sing along with these, like you said, lights, banners, etc. What kind of impact does this have on the fan culture, do you think?
Well, I mean, I think as much as people still try to belittle fans or belittle fan culture, K-pop fan culture is actually kind of magical. You know, when you're in an audience, I remember being in an audience in LA and all of a sudden everybody's singing in Korean. And that is magic. You know, I was at Taemin's concert on Saturday in Seoul, and it's electrifying. You feel goosebumps being in those audiences. That level of power of these artists to motivate all these people who don't even really know the language to memorize lyrics. I mean, you see light sticks and they're bobbing in a sea of light with these excited bodies. I mean, it's wonderful. You know, many aspects of K-pop fan culture are now being applied to non-Korean stars because fans really enjoy this. They enjoy the potency of K-pop fan practices. And these non-Korean entertainment organizations and stars, they can see the sense in adopting these practices. You know, of course, there's also some ways to sell additional merchandise and more music that is also being adopted along with these K-pop practices.
Professor, I almost felt like I am at one of those concerts right now, but magical indeed. When you're in the crowd there, everyone around you singing in Korean.
Yes.
It is magical.
Like I said, when I did host one of the culture events and this small crowd was in front of me and a lot of them were Australian and they knew all the Korean lyrics, I was absolutely mind blown that they knew everything. And you could tell many of them didn't speak Korean, but they knew all the lyrics and the chants. But why do you think the international fans are showing this enthusiastic response to K-pop performances? And what are the appealing factors or what differentiates K-pop stages from, let's say, others?
Well, I don't mean to sound biased, but K-pop really thrives on audience interaction. And so the entire industry and the fan practices have created these standardized practices that we learn. And those practices turn being in an audience into an otherworldly experience. In academic terms, we talk about the creation of something called communitas, where an entire group spontaneously finds themselves focused, breathing as one, held aloft by this music-fueled emotion. And I feel like K-pop is really good at creating that communitas. Actually, in Korean, it's kind of encapsulated by the term shinmyeong, right? So K-pop artists know how to create a feeling of shinmyeong in the audience. And this emotion is unforgettable for audiences, especially if you've never felt that before, if you've never been in a huge group where you felt held, embraced, sharing this similar emotion, like everybody here is feeling what I'm feeling. Can we believe we're seeing this with our eyes? If you have that feeling, you want to have that feeling again. And how else to do it other than going to another live K-pop concert?
And speaking of another live K-pop concert, we're now going to move over to Tecate Pal Norte 2025 because 17 has headlined this big stage, becoming the first K-pop act to perform at this major Latin American musical festival that we're now going to talk about. So many Koreans maybe were not familiar with this specific one, but now because of 17, probably Koreans also are more aware of this Latin American festival. So tell us the significance of what this particular stage holds.
Well, I think 17's show at Tecate Pal Norte demonstrates that K-pop is becoming mainstream in Latin America. reports from the show and uploaded audience video demonstrates that everybody in the audience was familiar with 17. They were familiar with the songs. They were doing the fan chants. They were singing along. And because Latin America is a very important and still growing music market, it really will provide a lot of benefits in the future for K-pop to move into that space. Stray Kids also just toured in Latin America, and they sold 400,000 tickets with shows in 8 different cities. And we have to remember that the cost of a ticket in Latin America is greater compared to a person's average income than it is like when we go to a show in Korea or in the United States or Australia. And so right now, as the sales of physical recordings, which used to be kind of like the bread and butter for so many artists, the sales of physical recordings just continue to go down and down, even though we have fan collection practices. And streaming financially is not very profitable for artists. The emphasis has really shifted towards touring. Did you know that SM Entertainment, they did 80 shows in 2022, right at the end of the pandemic sort of influenced time, but they plan to do 400 shows in 2025. So if we can sell out shows, it can bring the cost of a tour down. Whenever these artists have to do a tour internationally, they have to do very complicated visa practices to go to these foreign countries. There's behind the scenes paperwork that can be really exhausting. And then you have to move these large set pieces and really large crews of people who do technical support. And it's all really, really expensive. But the more locations within the same country or within the same continent that they can do on the same tour, kind of like back to back, put the set pieces on a truck and send the truck to the next location, that actually allows them to maximize their earnings while reducing costs and reducing paperwork. So you can really see why opening up this Latin American market, having richer tour opportunities is really important to K-pop right now.
Well, that brings us to our final question now, Professor Seiji. Very briefly, how do you see K-pop's presence on the global music festival stage evolving in the future?
Well, a music festival is supposed to motivate you to buy tickets through the draw of a well-known talent, and then also provide you an experience you can't get from like algorithmic suggestions for what to listen to, right? So I think that mixing K-pop performances with other pop performances, like other hip-hop performances, or in the case of a festival like Head in the Clouds, Asian artists from around the world, this becomes really ideal. People can discover new artists, both by K-pop and non-K-pop listeners. And so expanding overseas market is such a huge focus for the entertainment agencies, and exposing new audiences to K-pop at festivals is a really important strategic move. So I'm confident Korean artists are going to continue to wow the audiences and make new fans through their shows. And here's to many more overseas festivals.
Right. Now, we hope to see more of Blackpink, 17, BTS on the big stages, but also many rookie groups as well, because they also these days make some performances at these major stages. So that's a new development as well. But thank you very much, Professor Seiji, for sharing your K-pop insights with us today, as always.
Thank you, Professor.
All right. You guys have a great day.
Thank you. And thank you, Walter. As always, we're going to see you back here tomorrow.
See you soon.
Thank you for spending the past half an hour with us on the Culture Wave. Please join us again tomorrow on Tuesday at 2 p.m. Korea time. It's maybe one day here in Korea.